Welcome, everyone. I'm Liz Downing with Prosper, and I'm thrilled to have you join us today. I'm excited to have a conversation between Sylas Converse from SHEIN's business development team and Mike Kim from SHEIN's seller success team. Say hi, guys.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, all.
Great to be here. Thanks,
Likewise.
Liz.
Why don't you tell the audience a little bit about yourselves?
Oh, you, Mike?
Oh, thanks, Liz. I'm Mike. I'm with the seller success team here at SHEIN. So I work with sellers that complete the onboarding journey, and I can help them navigate their hopefully long-term success on SHEIN with optimization, best practices, and everything I can do to make sure they have all the tools for success. So yeah, happy to be here, Liz. Looking forward to the conversation.
Awesome. Yeah, Mike's great on our seller success team. He and I work together often with sellers that I bring into the fold here at SHEIN. I'm on the upper funnel business development team, so I'm focused primarily on the branded strategy and onboarding strategy for net new partners. So you'll be working with me a lot in your first 90 days as a seller, and then hopefully get over to Mike's team to grow even more.
That's great. Well, about me, I'm Liz, and I'm the brand director for Prosper, which is a conference, trade show, and networking event designed to create a space for brands and sellers to, well, prosper. People hate when I make that joke. At the show, they meet solution providers, marketplaces, industry experts, and most importantly, other peers, so that they can learn how to be better operators. And one of our missions at Prosper is to help brands and sellers discover opportunities early and scale smarter. So today I'm excited to work with SHEIN to show you some examples of that in action. And in the next 45 minutes, we're going to talk about some real SHEIN seller success stories, practical marketplace insights, next steps for growing your business, and better yet, we're going to get a little bit of a look under the hood of what it's like to work with SHEIN and what's special about this marketplace. So, Sylas, I'm going to put you on the spot first.
I'm ready.
Can you give us a sense of what SHEIN Marketplace is all about for sellers?
I absolutely can. And it's hard for me to talk about this sitting down because I get really passionate about it, but I'll do my best. I think that the most important distinction between what the SHEIN Marketplace is versus how we've made a name for ourselves is that it's the same URL. A lot of people wonder if it's a separate company, or the truth is it's all SHEIN.com and it's all operated internally. What SHEIN Marketplace is all about right now is about providing the best brands at the best price to our super engaged audience. We have a extremely valuable and extremely loyal cohort that has an insatiable appetite. And so we built our empire in the last 13 years of having a private label and exceptionally affordable and good quality product that we deliver faster than anyone else in the market. And we have the data across 150 different countries, being the #1 shopping platform for fashion in the world, and it's not even close. And we're a data-driven company, and we see the data that our customer wants more product. They want other categories that we weren't providing to them. And so we opened it up as a marketplace about 3 years ago, and that's evolved to what it is now, which is, it's grown very quickly. And we have a very unique way of doing business, and we are really excited about the fact that our audience is nothing like the audience you see out there from other similar marketplaces that you know and love. And the truth is that it's extremely unique. Our cohort is different, and so it's a net new opportunity for you to increase your revenue share, essentially. I think my mic might have just cut out. Did you guys lose me?
No,
Okay.
we can hear you.
Okay, good.
I'm going to make you talk more too.
Great.
Dig in a little, if you will, on this demographic that you've been alluding to.
Sure, yes. So our demographic is 85% Gen Z female, which is a very elusive group of customers. And to talk more about the loyalty that we've encouraged over our last decade, 29% of our business actually comes from the US region. So it's by far and away our largest region. We are the most downloaded shopping app in the world and the most visited most visited shopping app in the world for fashion as well. And 50% of our demographic tells us they don't shop on other marketplaces online. We got recently news from a third-party, unbiased network that 44% of Gen Zers in the US say they shop on Shein once a month. When you compare our demos to, an Amazon or a Temu or like Target or Best Buy, these are more 50-50 male-female, and they're usually millennial and up. So these marketplaces are great for what they do, right? And if you're a brand or a reseller or a retailer, someone who is marketplace proficient and really e-commerce savvy, then you run a risk of cannibalization if you're just opening up more and more marketplaces willy-nilly. But the good news is that Shein is a demographic that is not easy to pin down, and we have it locked in. Our demographic is loyal to us, and they shop a lot on Shein. It's very different, right? You can get loyalty points. It's kind of like a gamified system, and that's why we've captured the attention of our demo. Mike and I, honestly, we're not the target demo here. Shopping on Shein for us is very different from the convenience model that Amazon might have. We are, as a marketplace, Shein is much more focused on providing a hunt, something a little bit more emotional, a little bit more exciting.
So what brands do well for that particular demographic?
The brands you know and love. We have a really strong appetite for beauty, fragrances, footwear, streetwear, and activewear. And because our demo is 85% women, obviously those kind of products that cater to the female audience, so the women's product, tends to perform faster and have better elasticity and higher velocity. We're actually less price constrained than you'll believe. So brands like essentials, heritage brands like Tommy Hilfiger, Calvin Klein, and the brands that everyone knows, Nike, Crocs, these kind of brands, they perform really well, and we're actually not cutting down the price super low below MAP or anything like that. We actually have a growing ASP. We're selling products at, I believe for Nike, it's an average ASP of well over $100. And so, for brands and for resellers who are thinking that we have a perception as a low value discounter, that perception's fair based on how we've built our business, but our business is changing dramatically. E-commerce isn't what it used to be. We are at the cusp of knowing where that change is heading. We like to be ahead of trends. We are a proactive company, not a reactive one. So people on Mike's team and people on my team on the business development side, we see what's going on in the market and we plan ahead. We like to try to be 3, 6, 12 months is the way that our brain tends to work. And so that means with our sellers, we're really guiding them on assortment. We're using data tools to give you ideas of what's going to perform well. And it's real data. It's not just hunches. We're a data-driven company and we will continue to be. But high-priced commodity items, iPhones, MacBooks, headphones, all the way to things like Air Force Ones or lower-priced and really hot products like even the Boo-Boos, collectibles or Crocs. These are products that do really, really well on our platform. Trend-driven and Gen Z-focused. You're always going to see success there.
So when you're doing your business development work and you're talking to sellers and brands, what do you say to them when they ask, how do I do well? Like what are the qualities of a brand or a seller that would do well on Shein?
It's a really great question. And there's a couple of different seller profiles, and I'll try to break it down as simply as I can. And the truth is that there's a delta between what a brand thinks their products are worth and what a consumer is willing to pay. And the sellers who have a really strong grasp of what that means, and brands who have a really strong grasp of what their assortment needs to look like and what their strategy needs to look like per marketplace, because each marketplace is very different, tend to perform the best. So strong pricing and a strong assortment with a lot of depth. That's extremely important. But about equally important is knowing that you can't just copy paste your Amazon strategy or your eBay strategy onto SHEIN, because we're an entirely different demo. We have a completely unique and sophisticated, extremely sophisticated algorithm that is more merit-based. It's less pay to play, like a buy box, for instance. We don't do a buy box. We're much more focused on, are you a quality seller? How is your platform discipline? Are you participating in campaigns? Are you optimizing your listings? Mike's going to talk a lot about that. Are you taking our advice and our guidance? Mike's team knows the platform better than anyone. So if you're listening to Mike about, what kind of products you should be focusing on, what kind of campaigns you should be joining, that's really going to help. But also, do you ship on time? Are you packaging your products well so that they're not being damaged in transit? How is your just all of these processes are so important to building a quality storefront, not just quality products at a great price, but also how are you delivering them to your customers? It's extremely important. So boil it down into 2 seller profiles. Small but mighty. You can have a small assortment and do extremely well. I have sellers who perform, in the hundreds of thousands a month with less than 30 SKUs of branded goods, because they're very keyed in on what's good, what performs well. They're working really closely with the seller success team and me to curate their assortment. And then there's larger sellers who maybe have catalogs in the tens of thousands, who have a little bit more of a broad scope. And both of these sellers can generate tons of revenue on SHEIN. The through line is that they are participating in SHEIN. They're taking our advice, they're joining the campaigns, they are making their strategy to work for SHEIN, not just trying to piggyback off of their existing strategies, if that makes sense.
That's great, Sylas. I want to make a move over to, I think it's interesting that you're able to speak so clearly about that demographic. I think that a lot of brands in the space don't always know what marketplaces are going to work for them. And I like that you say, look, this is what you need to succeed here. And I think that's a really great approach. But once you onboard somebody, they go over to Mike's team. And Mike, tell me a little bit about what real life success stories and lessons sellers learn and the kind of support your team provides once Sylas brings them in.
Yeah, absolutely. So what I'll do is, before I jump into a little bit more of our day-to-day and how our seller success team could support, I'll go through actually a mini case study about one of our successful sellers, Monster Digital. So Monster Digital, to give you a little more background about them, they are a Miami-based print-on-demand leader in terms of the graphic t-shirt space. So they're known for really trend-forward designs, really tech-driven in terms of their production platform, which really allowed them to move quick in terms of turning around designs and going live. So with them coming into SHEIN, they always had a really strong grasp in terms of pop culture, which really aligned them with Gen Z and the millennial crowd that we really tailored towards. So for them, I know when I was working with them early on, the challenge was, how do you come in and really adapt to our speed? Because SHEIN Marketplace has its, as Sylas just mentioned, it's unique. Our ecosystem is very one of a kind, right? So highly dynamic, it's trend driven, it's very competitive. And because of the Gen Z demographic, the attention is very limited, and product cycles move really fast as well. Customer demands move fast, and Monster's challenge wasn't, hey, do we have a good product? It was more so, can you scale quickly enough, and can you stay relevant with the trends in real time? And really stand out in a really crowded marketplace, because SHEIN has been growing and growing ever since the inception in terms of the marketplace. So it was hey, how do we get in, move fast, stay relevant, without really sacrificing the quality? So their strategy, what really made the difference for them was data-driven, right? Because our seller success team, SHEIN Marketplace, as Sylas really hammered home, data is really very crucial for us, right? It's how do we lean into, the resources we have within our team and help the sellers grow? And that's where I leaned in with Monster and said, hey, I'm going to do the best I can to give you real-time insights, guide you on new designs, prioritize what our customers are looking for in the marketplace, so you guys can move, pivot, and really adjust on the fly and lean into what's winning, right? And second, it's really how do they grow their catalog and how do they do it at a rapid pace and scale at a certain level to hit that success. So they tested multiple designs really fast, right? They printed on demand in terms of the designs, the graphics, unique little artwork, and really tailor towards, hey, what's in and what can we do to really take this to another level, right? And this test and scale mindset, I call it, really allowed them to stay ahead of trends instead of just reacting too late. And they really built a diverse assortment from the catalog and really captured more and more demand within the same trend moment. And to wrap on that, they really leaned into the campaigns because with SHEIN, we are very heavily on, in terms of our campaigns, those are the biggest levers to drive, right? I think other marketplaces might have advertising, paid ads, but we really lean on our campaigns. So when it comes to 4th of July, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, Christmas, right? There's always these big campaigns we run, and they leaned into those very heavily, and they leaned into optimization of their product, pages, their imagery, customer reviews as well to really lean in and improve. So in the end with Monster, what was their outcome? First year, from the start, from their launch, they grew exponentially, 5 times in terms of the revenue. And beyond the revenue, I think most importantly, what they really grew was engagement with the Gen Z audience, right? They captured the demographic. They understood, hey, we know the secret sauce in terms of long-term success on this platform, and really locked into long-term momentum in terms of success with SHEIN. So I'll leave you with one thing, Liz, which is a quote from John, who was the VP that I worked with closely with Monster Digital. He said, Mike, the biggest advantage was learning how to move faster, and once we understood the trends, the growth only followed. So yeah,
nice.
Cool success story. They ended up winning Sellers of the Year in 2024 based on their success. So yeah, I like to say that the gold standard in terms of how it's done in terms of building it up from the ground up.
It's a great example too, because as time goes on and as e-commerce evolves, the need to move faster on almost every single part of operation it's there, and it doesn't slow down. It just goes faster and faster. So I have a couple follow-up questions. So you talked about Monster's challenges. What are some common challenges that you see among a lot of the brands that get onboarded and then end up with your group?
Definitely. And I know Sylas touched up on this. I know he sees it a lot on his end with sellers he onboards. But when they get to the seller success stage, I think the biggest challenge is mindset. A lot of sellers come in from Amazon, TikTok Shop, Walmart, and assortment of marketplaces, right? And they assume the same playbook in terms of, hey, like I'm going to take exactly what I did on Amazon and come to SHEIN, and it's going to be a success. That is, I'd say, an approach that needs to be adjusted, right? Because SHEIN is its own unique ecosystem. Pricing is different here. The speed is different. The content standards. Everything is unique in our own way, which is beautiful, though, because we are our own platform that has its own unique intricacies that I think if sellers understand and learn, they can have a lot of success in the long term. So in terms of sellers who don't adjust quickly and adjusting like one size fits all kind of strategy, I think those are the sellers you see struggle early on or take time to really adjust and find success. And it may take months and months, where some sellers come in, hit the ground running, and really take off. And I think the next big challenge I see with the sellers I work with is how are products presented? Because on SHEIN, listing optimization and the visuals really have to come together and work together and have to be really focused on, because titles matter a lot, especially on SHEIN. Because if you have a very generic product name, but hey, black t-shirt, very broad example, but if you just put black t-shirt, you're not going to be found. And you're limiting yourself in terms of discoverability from the start. So you have to make sure that you really hone in, be very detailed, and title is very important. It is most indexed in terms of the title specifically. And secondly, the visuals too. because for our customers, they're very social media driven. The Gen Z and millennial audience, we're really captivated towards lifestyle imagery, vivid like video content shows a lot more than just, a page where you scroll down and read the back of a milk carton, back of a, instruction manual. We have to see the visuals. We're engaged by that vivid imagery and videos. So, if your content doesn't inspire, if your content doesn't gravitate and grab someone, you're going to lose the clicks. And to wrap up, the trend velocity, because in today's market, what's hot today may not be hot tomorrow, maybe in a week. You don't know. So if sellers aren't consistently refreshing in terms of their assortment and refreshing their content, you're going to fall behind very quickly. So the sellers that win are the ones that treat their catalog as dynamic instead of being static. So.
Tell me a little bit more about those top performing, the ones that just start killing it. What are they doing? What are the levers they're pulling? Like more in depth. I know you say that listing optimization is really important. I know that this demographic that you have is a very visual cohort.
Yeah.
But how do they get into it, and what are they doing to win?
Definitely. And for us at SHEIN, Sylas' team, our team, we really lean into how hands-on we are with our sellers. We don't just onboard them and let them figure it out on their own, right? We have our customer service, we have our seller success, onboarding, teams designed to make sure we're here to support you from the beginning until the end. Well, hopefully not the end. Hopefully you're here forever and selling long-term on SHEIN. But, our operation model is, hey, we want to have a long-term collaboration. We're here to support you no matter what, through the ups and downs. So to dig a little bit more, Liz, into how I can support the sellers, the tools we have, I like to say we're not the most self-service, right? We're not going to say, hey, go into your account, watch some videos, and read a manual. Now, we want to really give you actionable insights. We want to say, hey, this is not just a dashboard of numbers for you to figure out. So, for example, we have weekly insights to give to sellers in terms of trending keywords. Say, hey, John, right now it's the holiday season. Here are some really hot keywords on Shein.com that are really, really driving traffic to these sellers, right? So those are really, really important to go back on what I said about optimization of a title, right? Using these reports to say, hey, incorporate these hot trending words into your title. Pivot to make sure you're incorporating these hot words that people are searching now to get to the products they want to buy. So that report is really, really insightful and really makes a difference for a lot of sellers, because I don't feel like a lot of marketplaces offer a tool like that to give them, hey, top 5 keywords of this week, and so on. So I think that's one of the biggest levers we have to offer to sellers. Yeah. But not just that, another thing is we have more trend-based reports. So I can provide sellers and go, you know what, for Q4, long sleeve t-shirts are in, jeans are in, denim, right? What's in, but also when it's starting to trend. So sellers can prep. Because if you go into Thanksgiving week and jump in the week of and start selling denim, you may be too late. So we can get ahead of the game and tell you, hey, 2 weeks in advance, you should start to supply and stock and get your listings up and prep ahead. So timing is also huge on that end. And in the end, when you combine the real-time data from our team, as well as the guidance, and get that clear roadmap, it helps a lot in terms of sellers so they're not operating blindly. So in the end, if you optimize, you pivot, you adapt, and really double down in terms of, hey, here's what's really selling well, let's stock more and really lean into it more, then sellers will really see long-term success.
I think it's outstanding that you provide those reports and that you actually touch your clients and say, I think you could do this and you would do better if you did. I think that's really great and lucky for them. So let's do a little bit. I'm going to put you both on the spot at the same time. So we're going to ask you, I'm just going to ask some rapid fire questions, and whoever manages to answer first wins bragging rights. I don't have any prizes today. How does SHEIN identify and validate trends so quickly?
It's a really interesting question, and I think it's a really complicated answer that I probably don't have all the visibility on. The truth is our
magic.
Data, magic, 100%. Our data really is exceptional. It goes very deep, and we love data at this company, and we love presenting it in a way that actually is actionable to our customers and our sellers. And I can't speak enough to everything Mike was talking about. He's one of about, I think, 20 or so people in the seller success and onboarding teams that are downstream from business development who are managing a large amount of sellers and just absolutely crushing it. I'd love to show that, like, even though SHEIN has 15,000 employees globally, the marketplace team is about a core team of 50 people. We are a small but mighty team ourselves. Truly, we are operating at a very high level and proving to SHEIN that we are worth more investment. And the truth is that we are crushing it. We're the only business unit that is driving growth in the branded sales, and it's because of the people like Mike on our team who know the platform, get this data that we've used to identify these trends, and they're not just sending that report to sellers and being like, here you go, you decide what to do with it. They're actually going, here's the data, and here's what to do to actually drive revenue this way on SHEIN, specifically tailored for each seller. So they're not just blanket approaching this for every single seller, because every seller is a little different. They have different pricing, different assortment, different optimization strategies, all of these things. And so really, I can't hit home enough. And I know I kind of changed your question to fit into what I wanted to talk about, but the truth is that really there are marketplaces out there where you run into a problem and you're put on a 30-day wait list to see if customer service is going to get back to you. I know many resellers who might be watching know exactly which platform I'm talking about, and that's just not how we work. So I can't stress that enough.
I think it's really great that you are able to identify those trends, however it is that you do it, whatever magic happens, and then you share that. It's amazing to me also that it's customized per seller. Like, hey, this is, instead of, decipher it on your own.
And each seller in their store has access to their own insights based on their store performance month over month. But of course, that's not really helpful if you're starting from zero, right? And that's really where Mike and his team comes in, is they give you guidance on where to start. They train you on how to read our data so that when you have been selling for 3 to 6 months and you're looking at your historical data, you can actually make decisions yourself as well.
Awesome. What's the fastest you've seen a product go from idea to live?
That's a good one.
Yeah.
I'll have to go back to example with Monster Digital, because with them, in that first year, they're very, very quick to turn ideas to a live product. And I'm sorry, this is not my world. It's Taylor Swift. I like Taylor Swift, but it's not my expertise. But I remember
he has a Taylor Swift poster at his desk.
I secretly listen on Spotify on the way home sometimes, but not too often. But John leaned into the Taylor Swift angle so much, where when Taylor Swift, I'm sure you remember when Taylor Swift went live with, oh, I'm dating Travis Kelce, or I'm at the Super Bowl, or I'm out, or whenever Taylor Swift made a moment with, a public eye, John was right on top of it, right? So he would always tell me, hey, Mike, I want to work on this specific product with her album release. Or, hey, she's wearing this specific T-shirt. I want to flip it around and get it live. I know people are going to be going to SHEIN and looking for this specific product. So I'm just giving you more of a broad example of he leaned into the Taylor Swift aspect in terms of finding different shirts that would tailor to our market. And for me, I just even went into our database to look at the trending keywords and oh wow, people are looking for this specific design of Taylor Swift shirts and such. So John was someone that leaned into that specific aspect, right? And really
think of how exciting that was for your shoppers to I bet you there's nothing anywhere, and then they go to SHEIN and they look for Taylor at the Super Bowl, and the next day or 2 days later it's there. That must have been so exciting for your shoppers.
Oh, absolutely. Even if something like, oh, I don't know, they made fun of Travis Kelce and called him Mr. Swift, or, there's these catchphrases and unique little, designs that people might not find going to Amazon or eBay, but they go, hey, let me go to SHEIN and try to find that shirt. I'm sure it's already catching on, right? So that's why someone like John was really quick to identify that and be like, hey, I want to be first in line. I want to jump in and capture that, right? So that's something that came to mind right away because I've worked closely on that specific project where, Taylor Swift sells, and he leaned into that.
And that's why you have a poster at your desk.
Don't tell everyone, but yes.
Sorry,
the
Mike.
cat's out of the bag now, Mike. I'm sorry. I've heard you both mention reviews and feedback. How does customer feedback shape listings and strategy, and how does it impact a seller or brand's success on the marketplace?
Absolutely. I say customer feedback is super important, but I feel like neglected a lot of times because customer feedback is where your customers, your buyers, are speaking to you as a seller, right? And I think the first example I'll give you is in terms of returns and refunds, because when people are buying apparel on Shein, it's a very fast fashion model, right? People are buying a lot for their cart. They might buy 7, 8 garments, right? And in apparel, that's the number one reason for returns. And if sellers start to say, hey, you know what, I'm getting a lot of returns, a lot of refunds, like what's going on? You can't just look at it and go next, and just process it and just go about your day. You have to understand that, hey, if a lot of people return my product, what's going on? Is something up with the sizing? Am I not consistent in terms of my product detail page? Am I not giving close enough, vivid imagery and showing the garment specifically that people aren't happy, right? So this is where it's critical for sellers to act on that and make sure, hey, maybe I need to look into my product quality control, right? Maybe I need to look at my packaging. Maybe I need to look at my sizing and make the changes, right? So that's very important for sellers to lean into and make the adaptations. And two, the customer reviews as well. It's very crucial to, build up 4 stars, 5 stars, good reviews. You want to build those up to 1, conversion and ranking within our platform is important to make sure that, hey, you're generating good feedback, good reviews from your buyers. And 2, you want to lean into it. If you're getting a lot of reviews from certain, demographics saying, hey, like this is really cute. I want to buy it for my teenage daughter. I want to buy this for my, not son, daughter. You want to lean into that. The feedback is there for you as good customer anecdotes, right? So you can understand, hey, I'm getting feedback that my onesie shirt is bought by teenage girls because they're really wearing it as a tight fit shirt. Great. Use that, lean into it, right? So that's what I mean by the return data in terms of refunds, the customer feedback in terms of reviews. Really need to lean into that and look into it and improve your business because it's a lot of good feedback, a lot of good anecdotes that you can use to, only improve your business. So yeah, that's something I always lean into, tell my sellers on a daily basis to make sure to, always be tuned into your business, read everything and make sure that you're only growing based on the feedback you received.
Well, and I'm sure that people who shop on Shein read reviews too, right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah. And that's what I mean by platform discipline, right?
Exactly.
Is everything Mike talked about and a little bit more is essentially logging on, right? The sellers who do best, I think one thing we could boil it down to is that they are active on Shein. They actually are logging on to the seller hub and they're combing through their reviews. They're combing through their refunds, and they're doing this work, right? Most of the most successful marketplace professionals that I know, whether it's a reseller that is very entrepreneurial and doing it with the skeleton crew, or a brand that is dominating on e-commerce as a whole, they all have the same operation where they have a specific team or person managing each marketplace, or an agency in some cases. And that's because each marketplace has its own foibles, right? Its own things that you need to understand. And while there are some universal truths about like what return rates might look like for certain categories, there are industry averages that you contend with across all marketplaces. There are different ways you can win and different levers you can pull to make sales happen, and it's different for every marketplace. So that platform discipline is so important.
It's important to have rules.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's just crazy.
Yeah.
Let's do a couple more. Let's do a true or false. So true or false, you need to have a huge brand in order to be successful on Shein.
False. I mean, of course, the brands, big name brands, are strong and perform on Shein, but for our platform, it's not just about big names. Sylas talked about it earlier with the small and mighty, right? It's not just about big giant powerhouses coming into our platform and being successful. Mm-hmm. I honestly think a lot of these small scrappy sellers that come onto our platform and have good optimization, have a strong storefront, have really good quality control with logistics, their full cycle process with their e-commerce business, they have a lot of success, right? So it's not just about big names. A lot of times, people I know who shop on Shein go, oh, I like this cute little outfit or a really cool little t-shirt that's really affordable. I hear a lot from my friends, people I know who buy on Shein, they go, they're not looking for the big name brand sometimes. Sometimes they do want something that's a little off the wall that, like I mentioned earlier about like Taylor Swift, something that's trending. So it's not always about the big brands. Yes, we love the big brands. Big brands do well, but we do have the small and mighty, as we said, that come in, have a lot of success. As long as they follow the blueprint, follow the model in terms of what we preach, then they'll have plenty of success with us on the long term.
Yeah. I think that if that question is more about big brands and we include big sellers in that pool, the truth is that the sellers who adapt the fastest to Shein will outperform the larger competitors with a bigger assortment and better pricing every single time. I've seen it many, many times. The bigger you are, usually that means the bigger your tech stack is, right? The more integration you have to do, the more you have to protect your omni-channel inventory, and just the more bureaucracy you have to deal with to onboard a new marketplace. And while that's an advantage in terms of how much you can scale over time, resellers will know what I mean when I say that if we were going to compare Shein's current state to something we've seen in the business before, it's like the Wild West for what Amazon was about 10 years ago. And that means you have an opportunity to claim a lot of business that is being left on the table by people who actually have a right to win it. What I mean by that is exactly what Mike said. The better pricing and better assortment that you may have access to in the brands we love and know. That list for Shein, just so you know, is 21,000 brands long. So if you think that there's a brand that, I don't think Shein's going to care about, Olipop. Well, guess what? That's a tiered brand on our system. So, for instance, it's just like there are all of these brands that you might have access to that you might not think will perform well, but we base this information on data. They're not hunches, it's data. People have an appetite for it on our platform, and we have a right to take that business, and we're looking for sellers who are ready to get on. We don't need 1 million sellers. We don't want 1 million sellers. We just want sellers who believe in what Shein's doing. They see the opportunity to get that product up, and you don't have to cut into your margins. You don't have to rewrite the wheel. All you need to do is just work with us on what that strategy looks like and adapt a little bit. And if you're able to do that faster than the guys who you'll know in the industry who might have better access than you or better pricing than you or better depth than you, if you can do it faster, you will claim it and hopefully scale.
I believe it. I think we're running out of time. I should probably say something about Prosper. I did before, but I'm not going to get too much into it. Prosper is a place where sellers and brands can accelerate their growth journey, turn into better operators, but it's also a place where they can discover opportunities like Shein. So I'm really excited to offer a free all access ticket to someone in the audience today. We will let you know, but we hope you'll join us in 2 weeks. And I hope that you'll attend Prosper, because everybody should. These guys aren't coming. I think that you should. I think you should come and then tell them what a good time you have, so that they have the worst FOMO ever for 2027.
Yep, it's my fault. I'm moving. I don't know what Mike's deal is, but I'm moving. But Prosper is such an amazing show. I'm actually really regretting not being able to go. It's a fantastic place to go to network, and we will be there as a company. So. Go to the Shein
will be there. We're staging at the Win this time, which is an upgrade, I think, in experience, March 10th through the 12th in Las Vegas. So if you have questions, I'm sure that they're going to tell you how to get in touch with me. But I'm really glad I had this opportunity today. Success stories like the ones that you heard today don't happen by accident. They start with being in the right rooms and asking the right questions and learning from the right people. And I think that these guys are committed to their mission. And I would love seeing that. I love seeing passion in your work. And I love seeing that fire for entrepreneurs and scrappy businesses that want to succeed and grow in this fast changing world of e-commerce.
Yeah.
And
Also, you guys aren't going to Prosper, so you don't get to go to the Starlight Social.
No.
You should know about that so bad.
I know.
No. But hey,
Does
Liz,
somebody want to give me 411 on that?
Yeah, I was going to say, SHEIN Marketplace team is going to host a Starlight Social, which is going to be the second day of the festivities during the Prosper Week. So we're going to pop a QR code here in a second. So sellers who are attending the festivities in Vegas that week would want to come join us. It's going to be an amazing event at the F1 simulator, I believe, which is really cool. I've never been, but FOMO, but it's going to be an amazing experience. Food, drinks, fun, mingling with our whole team from the Marketplace team. So yeah, sellers that are watching that are interested in coming by, just scan that QR code and our lovely team will get you on the list.
Forza Ferrari.
I will say I don't think you should sleep on a SHEIN Marketplace party because SHEIN Marketplace knows how to throw a party.
It's true.
I've heard. I'm an old fogey and I don't go to parties anymore. But
you got to join them. Scan that QR code, Liz.
Yeah.
We'll get you there.
Well, thanks, guys. Thanks, everyone watching. Thanks to SHEIN for having me as a guest. And we'll see you at Prosper.
Thanks, Liz. Appreciate it. This was great.
Thanks, Liz. Appreciate it.
Guys.